If you're around the late 2000s to early 2010s, you'll remember going into Walmart and maybe going through the $5 movie bins and picking a movie for that day. The $5 movie bin was like the holy grail back in the day. You can get a DVD for $5 when usually a regular DVD at Walmart would be like $20. But you would pick up the movie to either find The Missing Links or The True Story of Puss in Boots. And do you want to know something? These two came from the same Canadian distribution company called Phase 4 Films, who at the time were, the undisputed champions of just making straight to DVD garbage. So I decided, what the heck, and watched all of their animated films. Well, the ones they distributed. And it made me realize something. This company's history was very, very bizarre. Making the list of the movies I needed to watch took me over 2 hours. So please subscribe for my sanity. So, today, I'm going to be ranking all of their movies that they distributed. So sit back, relax, maybe, get a snack, and subscribe. I sure do love uncanny goats. Will you marry me? What? People every 5 seconds. A goat story sucks. Just sucks. Like, look at this. Look at this and tell me that if you were to watch this as a little kid, oh wait, guess what? This movie is not for kids. I kid you not, they marketed this as a kids movie because they don't care. As long as it has animated talking creatures, it should be a kids movie, right? Have y'all never seen Sausage Party? Yeah, because it has talking food. I don't think it's really for the kids. And yeah, I can't show any of the I can't, like, half of these clips I can't even show, or else this video gets wiped off the planet, like the face of the planet. And I know it has its fans. I know people. Well, I don't know anybody that actually has ever even heard of this movie before, but I know people on the internet. Well, I've seen people on the internet that really do like this movie because of its bizarre charm. It's kind of like the true story of Puss in Boots. Wait, I just kind of spoiled myself there. It's the so bad it's actually good charm. For me, it's not. There is no plot in this movie. This movie isn't funny. It's boring. The voice acting sucks. Everything sucks about this movie. I think this is the first movie I've ever given my life a 0 out of 10 because I genuinely don't like it. And, actually, I had seen this movie. It still sucks.
Cheese, 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 cheesy, cheese, cheese.
They made a sequel to this. They made a sequel to A Goat Story. But, you know what? They actually did it. They had a plot. And it still sucks. Man, how could such a horrible movie get a sequel? Oh. That explains it. Money. You see, I remember I said in the actual Goat Story one, just about a couple of minutes ago, that it has its fans, but the Goat Story 2 takes nothing from the original movie. It's just, I kid you not, the plot is they make a cheese so good that the literal devil comes and just kidnaps them. But wait, they have kids in this one. So meaning I hate this movie. And I don't care about these kids. I don't care about anybody about these movies. I'm about to make lamb chops out of the goat. These movies suck. Let's move on. Hey now, you're a rock star. Get the show on, get paid. No, I am not reviewing this film. This movie looks like it sucks. And yeah. Guys, in this film, and trust me, I tried to look for the full movie. I really did. And I couldn't find it. But this looks like a ripoff of Cars, and I'm not going to waste my time reviewing a ripoff because you know that it's bad, And why would I waste my audience's time? Moving on.
And you've been named.
Hey, it's that one movie that nobody remembers. Do you like gnomes? I love gnomes. This movie sucks. I got through like half of the movie and nothing happens. There is no plot. There's no plot to this movie. The least you can do is actually have a plot. The animation looks like it sucks. The lip syncing is absolutely horrible. And the video I watched was like in 144p. So I'm not gonna... This movie sucks. I don't want to ever think about gnomes and trolls, the secret chamber. Moving on. Well, if it ain't my favorite Chinese Temu Dragon Under the Sea movie. That was a mouthful. It's like they mixed The Little Mermaid and Kung Fu Panda with the animation of one of those mockbusters. It's bad. You know it's bad. But you know what? Let me tell you why it's so bad. You see, the villain is a dumbass!
This tunnel leads directly beneath the Imperial Palace. Oh, mighty Dragon King.
Yeah, so the villain is practically just Ursula, and every time, the kid gets away, Draco Malfoy gets away, she's like, grr, I'll get you next time. Buddy, there is no next time. Because every time he gets away, he's just probably just gonna go tell his dad. And you already got defeated before. What the hell makes you think his dad is just gonna be like, son, you're just messing around. She's not that evil anymore. No, he's gonna come after you. And then you have to capture his friends. Are you stupid? This actually might be one of the most stupidest animated movie villains of all time. How do you let your main protagonist get away not once, but twice? Huh? And then, oh yeah, remember when I said that there was a dad in this movie? Oh boy. So there's a dramatic scene where bro dies. He's like, and then, I kid you not, the kid, the Draco guy, he gets down on his knees and starts singing a song in Chinese. I have never, in my 15 years of living, have I ever seen such a stupid way to revive someone. They didn't even get the damn translators. They were like, just keep it in Chinese. We don't even care. And then he gets magical powers. This is never explained, but oh well, we gotta have an epic climax because this movie is 70 minutes. 70 minutes of just Draco being captured, the guy looking for the pearl existing. Oh no, the epic climax, the end. I watched this movie from beginning to end, and I can tell you, this is possibly one of the most insufferable experiences I have ever had in my pleasure viewing movie experiences. This movie looks like it had the budget of $2. The lip syncing sucks. The plot is completely nonsensical. This is a stupid movie, and I hate it so much. The yellow starfish guy is actually really cool, though. Although, he's the only guy with a Chinese accent!
Ignoring you, so why don't you pipe down so I can relax and get some shut-eye?
If you're gonna be a Chinese movie, you better embrace it because he's the only guy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for any headphone users. I should probably put a disclaimer before this segment saying that I will scream at the top of my lungs. Anyways, this movie sucks.
World. We're superheroes.
Hey, look, it's another grown-up movie. That also sucks. Jay and Silent Bob's groovy, cartoony movie. How do I put this into perspective? This movie, okay, what did I think of it, to be honest? It sucked. I sat through the first 10 minutes of the movie, and it was just middle school humor, which it could be funny. Middle school humor can be funny. But this one just wasn't it, Cheese. And I like humor that's not supposed to be funny to others. But this, I don't know what it was, but it just got on my nerves. Because, I don't know. And I know there are fans of this movie. There are probably fans of any of these movies. But I just couldn't. This one just didn't grasp my attention. I'm sorry, gang. This movie just... Bone to pick with Life's a Jungle, Africa's Most Wanted. How are you? The longest movie in the entire list, spanning of a runtime of 100 minutes, or an hour and 40. I did the math for you. You are the same length as Finding Nemo. What? This movie sucks. You know it sucks. I sat through the first 10 minutes of the movie, and the lip syncing sucks, especially on the puppy.
You missed one.
The models look like they're absolutely horrible. And the movie looks like it was made with the intent of being a PS2 game. And that would be disrespectful because PS2 games looked really good at the time. I hate this movie, and on top of the fact, it's boring. Don't watch this film. Hey! It's the Frozen Disney lawsuit. I mean, it's the famous Disney lawsuit movie. Oh boy, I bet they were cooking up at this one. Let's see what this movie is boring. And I couldn't find an English version, so there's going to be no footage of the movie. I mean, there was a Spanish version, but I wasn't going to sit through this film. Nobody cares about this movie. This movie's a ripoff, so no shocker. It's bad, and it's a ripoff of Frozen. And I sort of like that movie. I'm not the biggest fan. And funny enough, this movie has nothing to do with snow or ice. How are you going to rip off a movie and not even copy the best elements? This movie is stupid. I feel like I waste brain cells talking about it. Bad movie.
Praise the new king of Dream Zone, King Maximus.
Listen, I don't even like the actual Brave movie. I think it's boring. I think the character's insufferable. The main character, the main protagonist. The only thing that's the good thing about the Brave movie is that it has pretty colors. It has pretty animation. And the villain's a damn bear. I couldn't care more about Brave. You know, comparing to some of the other classics I saw in history this year, like Cinderella Man, a beautiful movie about a fighter who's also a father trying to provide for his family. Even when his wife tells him to stop fighting as he could potentially die, he keeps doing it for his family. Or The Great Gatsby, another phenomenal movie, which was one of the most hyped movies in the entire year. And, we're talking about Super K. This movie blows. I kid you not, this actually might be worse than the actual Brave movie. This movie sucks. I sat through like the first 20 minutes and it was just a generic adventure movie. And there's a lame villain. The animation sucks. The lip syncing sucks. And, you know, this movie just sucks in general. How do you suck more than one of the worst Pixar movies known to man? Whatever. This is such a horrible movie. Such a horrible ripoff, too. Super K? More like Super Bad. I've actually never seen that movie and it looks cool. If there's one thing on this list, is those Danish films, which there's a couple on this one, but this one looks like it's the absolute worst out of the three. Yes, you heard that right. There are 3 of these things. The animation just looks uncanny that I don't like. And I saw the trailer. and said I'm not gonna watch that. And listen, guys, do you think I'm gonna talk about Freddy Frogface? Maybe like 3 people actually know about this film. And maybe it's a masterpiece, but I can't see it. It's the characters that look all ugly. And I'm not going to watch a movie where the characters are just straight up mean-spirited. And guess what, guys? You know the saying. Let's move on.
That's good. Intervention! Just a bite!
I actually watched this masterpiece of a film from beginning to end. You can clearly see that this movie is such a masterwork of art when the animation looks like this.
Oh, mother, it isn't.
Oh wait, I got the wrong script. This movie sucks. My god, the story is horrible. The whole film is just about this dude named Pi that, oh no, he falls in love with a girl, but uh-oh, she already has a boyfriend.
What the hell is even that?
But guess what, gang? In the beginning of the movie, Pi's, parents, they low-key get, kidnapped. So instead of making the whole movie about, Pi having a revenge arc on the people who kidnapped his parents, it's a lame knockoff of the Karate Kid. Which, here's the thing, they don't mention the parents throughout the entire movie. Yeah, throughout the rest of the film, they just forget that Pi even ever had any parents. But then they just say that, oh, we gotta defeat Troy. And let me tell you something. Troy, I remember when I said that Ursula looking thing was possibly one of the most lamest villains? Troy actually might be even more stupider. How do you get outsmarted by a fish? You're a shark. Put some respect to your name. But, he is funny, though.
Boy, who's faster than a beam of light? Who's got the teeth that are pearly?
It reminded me a lot of, those bad villains. Like, the ones that are so bad at their jobs, but you can laugh at how bad they are. This movie is so boring. Half of the movie is just the Karate Kid, but unlike the Karate Kid where it actually had heart, charm, and actually had a good story, this has nothing. It has nothing. You get nothing.
Good day, sir!
So yeah, this movie sucks. The only favorite character of this movie was possibly that seagull that would appear every 30 minutes of the movie. And this movie is just a prolonged training montage that I don't like. This movie sucks.
Baby, we're back. Baby, we're back.
This is 2 sequels I don't like. Wow, if I had a nickel for every time they made an animated garbage sequel to a movie I already didn't like, I would have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. The Reef 2 actually might be worse than the first one. Because at least in the first one, I don't know, it was the first one. But you see, somebody in the meeting board decided, hey, remember that fish movie we made? Oh yeah, that deserves a sequel.
I am having a very bad...
What? The first one ended off on a happy note. There was no intentions for a sequel. But oh, guys, Troy is back. Wow, he's back. Yeah, I guess that where you could have gone with a sequel. This is just a straight DVD sequel. And they're like, oh, he's stronger. So, I gotta prepare the village. Is this Kung Fu Panda 3? What? It's just the same thing as the first movie. But instead, now you're training the whole village? This movie sucks. I watched the beginning and I said, wow, this is just a blatant, beat per beat of the first movie. They just ripped off Kung Fu Panda 3 and called it a day. How do you rip off a movie that's ripping off another movie that's ripping off a movie? How do you do that? No, tell me. This movie sucks, and if they make a Reef 3, I'm sending all of these fishes to Bubblegump. And I'm putting them on the menu. Yeah. This movie. Take one good look at this movie and tell me if this deserves a review. This movie is just generic slop. It's so forgettable, and it's Amazon Jack. I can't believe that in the same DVD I also have Primates, The Seven Seas. This movie blows. And I'm not going to elaborate any further. Moving on.
FBI, open up!
I don't know. It's a movie. It's about the stupid police car guy, dude, whatever. Man, I really sat there and thought, yeah, I'm not going to watch this. And I sound like a broken record. Guys, it ain't worth the time. All right, moving on. This movie sucks.
I'm an eagle. You're not eagle. You're an adult man. I'm an eagle.
This is the sequel to that police car movie. You know, the police patrol movie. And guys, this video's already long enough. Do you really want me to explain why Bald Eagles is one of the greatest cinematic achievements known to man? Nah, I'm just kidding. This movie sucks. Moving on.
Here's the dragon!
This is just sad. How do you have dragons in the title, and yet you're not a good movie? How? That's a load. That's an abundant load. Your title is Dragon Guardians. I would think that something interesting could come out of that plot, but no. You are just a boring, generic, straight-to-DVD movie. You suck. The plot sucks. The only thing that's saving you is the damn dragon designs. I can't believe that there's another movie with the title Dragon, and it's so much better. This movie absolutely blows, and it should be ashamed. This is possibly one of the worst dragon movies I've ever seen. I hate this movie.
It's for friends who do stuff together.
Hey, it's that one movie that was actually a Spanish film before Phase 4 Films brought it out and made an English version. So what did I think? This movie's boring. The whole movie is about this cowgirl who goes on an adventure because she wants peace.
60s is full of peace and love
from her friends. And you might be saying, well, what could they possibly have done to annoy her to the point of going on an adventure to get away from that? They were playing a little too rough at the park.
Be more careful. With all this noise, one can't even enjoy a quiet swing in the park. What do you think you're doing? You almost had my head off. You guys are useless. And look at yourselves. What a sight for sore eyes. Some friends I have. Ouch.
That was a
baby food, guys. This is just baby food. It's candy. It's candy movies. And I watched the first 18 minutes of this movie. And then the cowgirl goes with a sheep that the sheep doesn't even like her. This movie's for infants. This is just legit a baby film. And yeah, this movie sucks. Moving on.
I have boots. I am Puss in Boots.
So remember 2011, one of the greatest years known to man. Hey, that was the year I was born. I'm old. Anyways, and this year, DreamWorks released a spin-off to Shrek, Puss in Boots. It was a pretty good spin-off, it did a job. And then, a couple of years later, they made the sequel, which I really, really like. But did you know that 2 years before DreamWorks even released their own movie, there was actually a true story based on our favorite cat? Well, oh boy. Before doing this marathon, I was wondering how my opinion on this absolutely amazing film was gonna change. It didn't. It's still bizarrely bad. Like, it's so bad, it's good. Charm. The animation sucks. The voice acting.
Oh, hey, why the long face?
Yeah. No. And the story is just practically Aladdin. Oh, and guess what? The villain, the Chamberlain guy? Bro. He doesn't even do anything.
Princess's suitors, sure. But when there are no more young men in the village...
I hate young men!
Why?
Because they're young!
Throughout the entire film, he's just practically wanting to kill the jester by turning him into a toad.
I'll deal with the jester later.
Who gets the candy this time, Master?
It's for the court jester. He gets on my nerves. He's going to make an excellent fat toad.
And if you don't know, this guy is really obsessed with toads.
You like toads, don't you?
I adore toads.
No, he has a huge turning people into toads obsession. He's just really into toads. And it's actually kind of disturbing because there's a scene where apparently there's a frog strapped to a chair getting fed God knows what. So yeah, I don't even know what that is. The monkey chill though. He's probably my favorite.
Tomorrow night should be all right. Hey, I just rhymed.
The whole time the princess finds out about Peter. Yeah, remember the dude, the main character in the movie? Well, he's actually the son of a miller. Or the Marquis of Carabas, as Puss in Boots would say. And the princess finds out that he ain't even that. 40 minutes into the movie. In this hour and 20-minute movie. Meaning that bro has plenty of time to say, yo, I'm actually, not this guy that y'all think. Nah. He's like, yeah, I'm still the Marquis of Carabas. And then we have Puss. Bro either is just stuttering.
No, two pheasants. Huh? No, one.
The gruffle.
Or saying the most unhinged things known to man.
Puss in Boots. And he's in the nude.
Carabas! My goodness, he is nude.
Oh, totally nude and where?
And then there's the queen who sounds drunk half of the time.
What's he telling me?
But this movie is unironically funny. You put it on because you know it's gonna be bad, but you laugh on how bad it is. So yeah, the animation isn't great. The voice acting sucks. And, there's also an ogre, but nobody cares about the ogre. Don't you just like it when movies just lie to you? You see the title and you think, wow, I bet that's what the movie is going to be about. No, not with these movies. Oh my god. Space Dogs is possibly the most clickbaitable out of any of these movies. You think that the movie is going to be about these dogs going to space. Do you want to know when they go to space in the movie? At the 1 hour mark of this hour and 28-minute movie, they go at the hour mark. And you might be saying, oh, that could possibly be because they're just training to go to space. No. They never end up training for anything. They're just adventuring throughout the entire city because some rich dog said, hey, so, back in the day, my mom used to, low-key be an astronaut or, a famous celebrity or whatever. And we spent almost 20 minutes just telling the backstory. Hey, the movie is called Space Dogs. I want them to see to go to space. Every time I talk about one of these movies, I legit feel a vein popping. This movie is just pure clickbait. They don't even go to space until the hour mark. I'm moving on. that Phase 4 distributed before getting brought out by E1 Entertainment. And it looked boring. You see, I sound like a track record. We gotta repeat ourselves in order for the idea to get across. Guys, if there's a theme in this video, is that I skipped quite a lot of movies. But I will say, this looks generic. Congrats. I can't believe the William Shatner Nightmare Puss in Boots movie left more of an impact than half of these films. But I don't care. And I don't want to repeat myself, so we're moving on.
I amuse you? Am I some sort of clown to you? I hate my job.
At least this one has the damn rhino. These Danish films, once again, it's another one of those Danish films. And listen, I know there's a dedicated fan base to these movies, to these 3 movies, because yes, there are 3 of them. But I can just not, I don't care. I think that's a lot of my movie opinions on this list. I just don't care. You probably don't care. And at this point, I sound like a broken record. Forgettable film. Whatever. Next. That very good Pixar movie, possibly one of my favorites, and it's quite funny. And Bob's arc is a really good arc about how simple things in life really matter. Well, how about if we made that into a Dollar Tree movie? Well, there you go. I'm not gonna waste my time. Y'all know the drill by now. It's the last of one of these Danish films, but I don't really care. And listen, I know these Danish films probably have their fans, as I've repeated multiple times throughout this video. Or maybe my attention span sucks, which can't be the case because I sat through Legend of the Sea from beginning to end. You see, I said this in my segment of Legend of the Sea. I just don't care enough to review these movies. Let's move on.
Wish I was in Texas, prettiest place in the world.
Guys, listen. I think I found the greatest artistic achievement. Lucy and Luke, the Texas Rangers. You see, it's such a genius work of fiction because it takes a classic spin on the Western genre, and I already did this joke. This movie looked fine. It's the same problem with all these other movies. They all look generic, same slop. They all look fine. And also, I could not find the English version of this film. And I was on about to hunt down a DVD. So, yeah, there's that. Let's move on. And if you want a good Western movie, go watch The Quick and the Dead. That's a movie worth your time.
A true friend helps a friend in need.
This could have been a nice little short film. You know, kind of like how those old Tom and Jerry cartoons used to be. Yeah, you know the ones. You would watch on Cartoon Network every, Saturday, or on Boomerang. Oh, now that's a classic, I tell you right there. But there was no reason for this to be an actual film. It could have been a quiet film. It could have been a short film. But no, they made it a feature-length movie. And, they could have just relied on sound effects and music. But no, they hired a narrator that points out the obvious. Like,
This is Lloyd, the penguin. It looks like...
Look, the baby's walking. Yeah, no kidding. I can see that he's walking. Even toddlers have the IQ to say, oh, the thing is walking. I don't need a narrator telling me that he's walking. And I don't know, the penguin's cool. The polar bear is, I don't know. The model for the baby is not the best, but you know what? The movie's very boring. Nothing happens. It's literally just Orion in the dark. And I have not seen that movie, but I can tell that this is just a blatant, like a beat for beat, like about not being afraid of the dark. Kind of like that Nickelodeon show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? Man, I haven't heard about that one in years. But man, If I had to compare this movie to another movie about where a main protagonist actually has to grow courage in order to overcome obstacles, oh wait, Mulan! Mulan is a great movie about saying, hey, it's gonna be scary, but you can get over your fear and be courageous. And I really like Mulan. And this film shouldn't be even talked in the same breath as Mulan. Anyways, the movie is fine. It could have been just a short movie, or a movie where it just relies on the slapstick and not a narrator telling me, look, the penguin can talk. Oh, thank you. Thank you, narrator. I know the penguin can talk. I've seen the penguins of Madagascar. Anyways, this movie's boring. It's just toddler food. But it does have pretty colors. So yeah, I don't know. Fine movie, I guess, if it wasn't for the damn narrator.
Next, we are going to steal...
Pause for effect.
Hey! More clickbait! Yeah, Ojo just love getting clickbaited because you see, Pup, oh boy, Pup is just absolutely phenomenal when it comes to that. The whole movie, I kid you not, centers around the black sheep. Even though the movie is called Pup, so you would think it would center around the puppy. Even Space Dog centered around the damn dogs. No, but it's about a black sheep that wants to go to space. Like, how are you going to be called Pup, but then it's about a black sheep? Guys, I watched 55 minutes of this movie, and yet, do they ever go to space? No. Man, I gotta stop watching movies with space in the title because they never just end up going to space. Oh yeah, and there's a villain in this movie, but he's so lame. It's just this wolf who's obsessed with models. Nobody cares about you, dude. You get defeated by a damn puppy. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And in those 55 minutes, I thought to myself, man, I could have been playing Arkham Asylum. This movie is so boring. But like, hey, at least the duck's cool. Oh yeah, and there's also, and half of the movie is just them being at like, you know, like at a camp, at like one of those training camps, because the pup just let out the entire herd of the sheep, and then the homeowners are like, grrr, you bad dog. But then they hire this German shepherd to take over the property.
Who are you?
Your worst nightmare, darling, so I'd advise you to get your act together before I...
But no, this movie is just for toddlers. You know how the movie ends. They probably all just get along and sing a happy song. And yeah, this movie is just clickbait.
Yo soy Don Quixote.
Ajá, sí os creo. Todos lo son.
Have you ever read Don Quixote, La Aventuras de Don Quixote de la Mancha? It's an actual really good Spanish literature of a book. It's also one of my favorite books of all time. It's a really, really good story. Now, have you ever thought to yourself, man, I really wish there was a movie based off this very classic piece of Spanish literature? Well, oh boy, do I have the film for you. Donkey X or No Quixote. Yo, whoever made this title genuinely, like, see if you could read this title. I can't. So anyways, this movie felt like a saving grace on day one. Because do you want to know what the two films I had watched prior to this were? The Reef and Legend of the Sea. So, the shark movie and the Temu Dragon movie. So this felt like a change of pace. A good one too. So, don't get me wrong. The story takes absolutely nothing from the actual book. As this is supposed to be in the part 2 of the book. Because in the movie, Sancho and Quixote are already friends. And by friends, they just completely hate each other.
Where's Quixote then?
Sancho.
Let's get this over with. I've got the donkey double parked.
Gentlemen.
Also, they add in this generic lame villain who just wants the fame that Quixote has.
I want to humiliate them, to get rid of them, have their fame vanish forever.
Because you see, in the book, there is no villain. Because in the ending of part 1 of Don Quixote, they brutally torture this man. No, I'm serious. They lock up him in a cage and they just send him straight back to his hometown. And then people just start laughing at him because of him being a complete lunatic. And I mean, yeah, the guy was crazy. He was like, the windmills are monsters trying to attack us from all the sides. No, bro, they're just windmills. I think you gotta calm down when you're reading. And also, oh yeah, but in this movie, they actually have the Duchess and Duchesses. You know, remember those guys? The same guys who promised Sancho that they would give him the become a governor of an island.
My friend, from all I possess, choose what you wish. So, for example, if I ask for food, you'd give it to me? Done. What else do you wish? Money? Can I ask for money? Done.
But they do set up this marriage with Quixote and this redheaded girl who's just a spoiled brat, and I loved her.
Aren't you worth a house in the country, a private pension, paid holidays in Palm Beach, a weekly
Aren't you worth a house in the country, a private pension, paid holiday?
I don't know, she was possibly the best part of the movie because it actually depicts on how dating kind of works in the real life. Wait. And also, Dulcinea is in this movie. Whoa, shocker. Because if you don't know, in the book, there is no Dulcinea. And the one that there is super ugly. She's a peasant girl and doesn't even know that Quixote even exists. But in the movie, Dulcinea's like, oh, I needed to know if Quixote was really real or if it was just a part of my imagination. No, bro, you didn't even exist in the book. But then, in the ending of the book, they start, I don't know, they get married or something.
And this, my friends, is the true story of Don Quixote. Sancho returned home happily to Teresa, and Rocinante went back to his dear dusty barn to care for his beloved hens.
For taking care of that.
Did you see that?
It's no surprise Quixote lived happily ever after with that.
And then Sancho just dips. Oh, no, sorry. In the movie, Sancho dips. In the book, Sancho stays there until the very end. Until bro's deathbed. And, you know, in the book, he's like, I didn't need to be a governor of an island because what I really loved was the adventures I went along with you, Mr. Quixote. That's really sweet. In the movie, bro dips. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Another thing. The donkey, Rusio. Oh, my God. Everybody hates his design. I don't care. He's an average, you know, talking animal design. You know, nothing that really just makes me want to throw my computer into the wall. So, yeah. But this movie just really does take its liberty really far away from the actual book. Because in the actual book, the message is really clear. You don't have to be a governor of an island or find true love. What really matters is the adventures and the friendship you make along the way. And actually, shocker, I actually watched this movie before. Yep, I saw it multiple times before this marathon. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. But yeah, I feel like the book didn't really adapt. I feel like the movie didn't really adapt the book that well. But I mean, it is a kid's movie at the end of the day. And it definitely was 10 times better than the other 2 movies that won't be mentioned in this household. So, yeah. But it's a shame because as I really do like the Don Quixote book, and I really want there one day to be an actual faithful adaptation. And you know, it's a good book. It has a nice message. The movie ain't so great, but hey, it's pretty funny.
Animals make the very best of friends. Animals you can always count on till the very end.
I actually grew up with this one, so I'm gonna try to review this with not the most nostalgic glasses put on. I'm actually gonna try to review this as honestly as possible. So what can I say? My opinion hasn't changed. It's still a pretty decent film. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it's about Dr. Dolittle, or the nephew of Dr. Dolittle. It's about the guy who talks with animals.
Animals you can always count on.
Don't get me wrong, it ain't horrible. And definitely is better than half of the garbage of a list, but it's still just mid, to be honest. The biggest advantage of this film is that it's very colorful. Maybe one of the most colorful films on this list. And yeah, the character model on the big doctor doesn't look the best, but it's a TV movie. Or just a straight-to-DVD movie. And I mean, Phineas and Ferb came out the same year, Across the Second Dimension, which is a Disney Channel movie I really, really like. So that should tell you something. Oh yeah, the villain of the movie, he's kind of just like, he really hates Dr. Dolittle.
What did they ever do to you? We can talk about this.
Talking to humans is just what got them into trouble in the first place. You Doolittle should keep your mouth shut.
This never gets explained. He just really hates that dude. He's like, ever since that human ever came into this land, you know, he has practically just been awful. He's just the worst person ever.
Supply burned our crops and delivered a plague unto our houses.
And it's like, what did bro do? Or maybe he's just, you know, I think he's the dictator of the island, or maybe he's the... Wait, I'm getting too deep into this. So yeah, it's a fine enough movie. It's a cute little kids movie. You know, it's fine. Anyways, moving on.
So long, Dolittle. No more Dolittle. No more friendships. Who needs Dolittle? Yeah!
Except they never really did anything bad to us. Now that I think of it, that guy was pretty nice. Why don't we get rid of Dolittle?
See! Life under the sea is better than anything they got up there.
Hey, it's the movie that nobody knew until I brought it up into this video. It looked fine. Guys, you gotta listen. Half of these movies look fine. And you know what, I'm just gonna speed this up because you know the gist. The movie looked fine. I saw the trailer for it and I said, I'm not gonna watch that. And I don't know, the animation looks cool. I don't care about these mediocre movies. I feel like a teacher repeating myself. Anyways, I don't really care. I'm moving on. This is actually the first film I saw in another language, and that language being Hindi. So you can see I don't watch movies in other languages. And I watched quite a lot of this movie. I watched 30 minutes of it. And actually was starting to get really invested. Until they just decided for bro to leave his family. Because that was the only part I was interested in the entire movie. About his family. So, yeah, it's pretty okay. It definitely was a lot better than the other Fox movie. As I can actually see this being a movie played as a way to pass my time. Maybe if I got the English version of the movie, but unfortunately there was only the Hindi version.
Qui va là? Ici vous êtes sur mes terres, les petits gars. Alors ce serait pas plutôt à moi de vous poser cette question?
So yeah, I really started to get invested, but the animation's fine. The plot's a little generic. It's just kind of just Robin Hood. But I mean, hey, it is definitely better than half of the movies on this list. So Fantastic Mr. Fox gets a pass from me.
Really must declare that no human can compare. Animals make the very best of friends. Animals...
I'm about to give Disco Worms a 6 out of 10 if I have to review any of these more 5 out of 10 movies. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go do that right now. This movie is just Once Upon a Forest. And if you don't know, Once Upon a Forest is actually a really good underrated movie that actually has, you know, stakes, has dangerous stakes. But the whole movie is just practically about these animals who are like, yo, we got no water in the dam. Wait a minute. Isn't that just the plot of Madagascar 2? So that's 2 movies that rip off Madagascar 2. Wow, congrats. You could have not come up with a more lazier plot. This movie, like, I'm getting so sick and tired of these mediocre movies. and repeating myself. I'm moving on.
Of Knuckles. I mean, it was pretty boring, Tails. Well, I mean, there is a game that we can play called the Charlie Challenge. What's a Charlie Challenge? Well, all you gotta do...
This looked fine. I didn't care enough to actually watch the whole movie because, say it with me now, kids, this movie is for babies. You see, if I keep repeating myself, the message will get across, and half of you will have already clicked the video off. So instead, I'm going to recite the entire Headless Horseman speech I had to do for an 8th grade play. Ha ha ha, I'm just kidding. And I'm not going to elaborate because you get the gist of it. Hey, it's a bee. You know, like the Bee Movie. Do y'all remember the Bee Movie? I wasn't the biggest fan of it growing up, but I could see why it has such a dedicated fan base. Oh wait, we're not talking about the Bee Movie? We're talking about Maya and the Bee? Listen, I really didn't grow up with Maya and the Bee, and I know, there's gonna be people in the comments saying, "Oh, but Maya and the Bee is such a classic. How can you possibly hate on it?" It just didn't grab my attention, guys. This looked like a generic movie, and this unfortunately had to end up being on day 4, which then I was really, really tired. Guys, I have spent 4 days back to back watching these movies. Give me a break. But I will say this. Maya and the Bee fandom. The animation looks like it's great. The story looks generic, but hey, the animation looks like it's great. That's the only praise I'm giving this movie. Though I just didn't care. I'm sorry. Moving on.
It is I, Thor, son of Odin. No. That's definitely not what we want.
So we all know Marvel, right? I love their X-Men movies. Yeah, but did you know that there's an animated movie based on Thor called Thor: Legend of the Magical Hammer, and that it's fine. Listen, it's another forgettable movie. Like, guys, every time I have to write a review for one of these mediocre, forgettable movies, I kid you not, I don't know what to say. So that's why some of these movies will never ever get a full movie review, because it's just practically going to be me saying the same thing. And I sound like a broken CD at this point. It's a fine movie. If you want to go watch it, do it yourself. And I actually sat through the first 10 minutes of the movie, and it was just completely boring. So yeah. Or like mid-or. The jokes suck.
Do you like adventure, activity, wonder, danger, horror, pain, suffering, pain, death, disease, death, angel food cake? Ow! You parasite!
I got this and Animals United mixed up, but it's still... The movie is still forgettable. Guys, it's still forgettable. You know, any movie that's not like in the top 5 is just completely forgettable. And it's a darn shame, because I had no expectations for this movie, and it's still just a generic another film that you put on, trying to waste time. And you know what, I'm just going to move on.
Disco is completely incompatible with our new corporate image statements.
Man, I can't believe the movie about a bunch of worms who want to become pop stars is the one that ended up being on my top 5. Yeah, what can I say? Disco Worms was actually a breath of fresh air. It was also a really nice surprise. I mean, yeah, the plot ain't the best, but it's possibly the simplest plot you could ever think of. Worms who want to become pop stars. That is it. That is the plot. But who cares? The movie isn't boring, and that's like a blessing when it comes to most of these movies. Man, the movie is just so fine, but it was such a breath of fresh air that I loved it. But I will say this, the best part about the movie is the soundtrack. I don't know who was cooking in the Disco Worms music department, but they were cooking. They featured a bunch of bangers. Even the one that was like in the trailers.
It's boogie time!
So yeah, and you know what? I actually liked some characters, like that one dude who was the drill sergeant, and he was practically like, "Oh, you guys are gonna make a band? No, we can't have that here. What? Do you think we're stupid? Haha, you sounded a lot of like a deeper voice of Patrick Warburton. I don't know why. And I also like how the main character, Barry, doesn't theoretically get what he wants in the end.
And the winner of the Great Song Contest and 10,000 beautiful bucks is...
Yes, 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 yes.
Huh? Who would have thought it? The evening's winner is...
We're so ready.
The Mayflies!
No, no, you can't be serious. Huh? No way. Listen, we are by far the best.
Cheapskate, Squidward's been living at my house driving me crazy, and you're not gonna hire him back all because of a stupid dime!
Because you see, in the end of the movie, he wants to win the $100,000 for him and his gang. But, you know, the competition ends up being rigged, and he never ends up winning the actual prize money due to the villain. And I was actually shocked. The villain somewhat wins? I mean, he's completely forgettable. I don't even remember his name. All I know that he's a beetle, but he wins? What? Disco Worms has the villain that wins? But yeah, I do like how in the end, the movie just practically teaches Barry that, hey, it doesn't matter if we win the 100K or not. What really matters is that, you know, we made the band. And that we're doing the thing we love, which is to sing and dance. And I thought that was actually really cute. Or, you don't have to become famous. Hey, it's kind of like the same message as Don Quixote. Remember that movie? So, yeah. Oh yeah. The funniest part in this movie is that he has a dad. And I kid you not, out of nowhere, like towards the end of the movie, his dad just drops the most insane piece of lore. This dude used to be in a band.
A pipe dream.
Nope, didn't work for me either.
Yeah, sheer madness. But what didn't work out?
We were offered the gig at the legendary Tile 54. No less, but your mom's weak health couldn't handle it, so...
A gig? You were?
Yeah, Funky Frank and the Boogie Worm Band.
Worms?
You should have seen us. I had all the moves.
Like, bro just dropped it out of nowhere. I found that hilarious. So, yeah. The movie's generic. The plot isn't, you know, anything all too special. The villain is, you know, kind of lame. But, man, it ain't boring. And that's like a blessing when it comes to these movies. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, one more thing. I love how the rock dude doesn't even own a guitar. He just comes into the bar and he's like, hey, dudes, so theoretically, I used to be in a band. And then when he opens his little guitar thing, there is no guitar. I found that hilarious. Anyways, it's a cute little movie, and something I wouldn't mind rewatching. So, worms that want to become disco stars, you get a pass from me. Thank you for not being a boring piece of hell.
This is the end! Goodbye, freedom!
Now, actually, I had seen this movie before this marathon, and let me tell you, it's still one of the better Phase 4 films, because it actually has a plot. And also, I just really like Gus. I also liked how the titular Lynx is actually just a bit of a goofball who doesn't want any harm to anyone, but bro is just completely jinxed from beginning to end. And I also like how he goes on this adventure to go rescue this lady Lynx. Also, and I like that Antonio Banderas was behind this, as I think this was a passion project, but I don't know. So you better not leave any comments saying that you were completely wrong and that you don't do fact checks on your videos. Anyways, but for every good aspects of the film, there's also the bad aspects. The villain is just kind of forgettable. He's just this lame-ass poacher that nobody cares about. The old dude, though, has an interesting ideology on why he captures the animals, saying that if each animal on the planet were to be captured, there wouldn't be an animal that can become extinct. And I like that conversation they had between him and the Lady Lynx. Wait a minute.
Make the very best of friends.
Saying, yeah, while it is good to keep an eye on the animals, they really don't have to be in cages, because what's life without a little bit of risk, eh? And then there's this wolf that appears, and then bro just disappears. What is it with wolves in these movies being the most forgettable thing known to mankind? I don't know why they would even include him in the film if he ain't even going to be that important. Also, the plot can feel very slow, especially in the middle. I think this film does have pacing problems. But overall, it is still one of the better Phase 4 films because, I don't know, it wasn't boring. So, pretty good movie.
I bequeath to you the cat.
Now, prior to this marathon viewing, I had actually never even heard about Top Cat. So I did a little bit of research before watching the actual movie. I found out that it was an actual Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And I thought, whoa, that's actually really cool. I saw the trailer, and it started to pique my interest. But I started watching the movie, and it became clear to me this movie was going to suck. For the first 10 minutes or so, I legit thought like the movie was so generic. It was just a bunch of generic slop. But I stayed. And you know what? I'm glad I stayed because this is possibly one of the funniest movies on this list. Yeah, I know the plot isn't the best. It's about Top Cat getting framed and then Loki going to jail. You know, it's been done before, but man, is this movie funny. And that's thanking part to the villain. Oh my god, I love this villain. He's just so funny. He's so he's so cartoonishly evil to the point where you just laugh. This guy just wants to build inventions who are like, I don't know, he just wants to build robots to take over. This movie really reminded me of the whole Big Brother is watching you meme, which when I found out that the correlation between the two were very similar, I just started laughing. So yeah, this dude is just practically hating on Top Cat. And I don't like Top Cat because he has this deep or interesting arc. It's because he's Top Cat. So, yeah, I mean, you know, the plot is, it's very basic. You know, it's been done before, but it's very funny. I really did love the slapstick humor in this movie because it was really, really good. It reminded me a lot of those Tom and Jerry cartoons. See, my friend Bernard, was it really that hard? Was it? So, yeah. And also, I like the gang. I like everybody in this gang. So, yeah, it was actually really good, and I'm really glad it stuck around. But now, the critiques of this movie. The plot moves a little too slow for my liking. Yeah, after those 10 minutes, the plot kind of does pick up speed, but then it kind of slows and then picks up speed. The tone, like, the pacing is very inconsistent with this one. But, and also some of the CGI elements, like the background, really don't mesh well together with the 2D animated characters. They really try to do a Curious George, which did not work. And I like Curious George, but oh well. Yeah, but I mean, hey, it's still better than half of the other movies on this list. So, Mr. Top Cat, thank you for not being boring.
Do what you want, because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Guys, this is possibly one of the funniest films on this list. No, I am not joking. This movie is about a monkey police guard. The movie about a monkey police guard was actually really good. Don't get me wrong. The plot is so bad you can practically call it predictable from every turn. But I had such a fun time with this movie. Of course, we have to talk about Carlos, the villain of the movie. The dude just wanted to build an illegal casino, and I loved that. He sings a song about gambling. I found enjoyment out of that. Did I mention that there's songs in this movie? They aren't the most, amazing songs, but they work for what they're worth. And Marco, the main protagonist, I actually also found him really funny. The dude, if he existed in real life, he would be like the teacher's pet. Bro would run to the general whenever there would be a slight inconvenience.
At the gate outside, when they pull up, they give me loose. Yeah, jump out, boys. That's Nike boys hopping our coast. This shit way too big. When we pull up, give me the loot.
But then there are the pirate monkeys. The best aspect of the entire movie. Bro, you expect these pirate monkeys to be this tough and hardened men. No, they're just a bunch of heartbroken, silly little babies. And when they first said that they just wanted to find love, I laughed so hard. These pirates are just so good, and they're possibly one of the best aspects of the movie. So yeah, and then towards the end, where Marco has to go save, his love interest, the pirates are like, yes, go save your lady, because we would have done the same. That's so beautiful. It's almost poetic. Anyways, yeah, but of course, there are some bad aspects, because for every good aspects, there's some bad ones. So, first of all, I feel like this movie is way too fast-paced. And when you've considered some of my other, opinions on some of the other movies, this would feel like a saving grace. Because some of the other movies are so god damn slow. But, yeah. Also, while I like Carlos the villain, we spent like at least 30 minutes just with him. And I feel like that's way too much time. And that's time I would have rather dedicated to the monkey pirates. And I really wanted this movie to be longer. It was a shame it was so short. But yeah, this movie's an underrated gem. And I wouldn't mind watching this movie from time to time because, it was actually funny. And, the true stars of the pirates, the true stars of the film were the pirates. Or maybe I just like monkey movies. I like Curious George is an underrated masterpiece. And its sequel is also good. The third one sucks though. Anyways, funny monkey movie gets my number 2 spot. Before starting this marathon, I really, really wanted there to be a good movie. Because even though they have just complete garbage movies, they're great movies. And I found it. Man, what can I say? Compared to some of the trash I had to sit down and watch, this felt like a breath of fresh air. Like, it's one of the most beautifully animated movies out of the entire list. And also the one with the best world building. Those 2 awards go to this one. And sure, it's no Pixar or DreamWorks, but seriously, look at this. And then take a look at this. Huge difference, right? And my god, the score is just great. Y'all are gonna think that I'm, praising this movie. But guys, if you have to go through 39 of these movies, this would feel like a safe haven. So, yeah, and it also really reminded me of those darker animated movies, like 9 or Once Upon a Forest. And this movie is never boring. The plot is always moving. We're always seeing new locations. And aesthetically, this movie goes so hard. They didn't have to go this hard, but they did. And, yeah. The characters at first, Zoe was really the only one that started to get on my nerves. But I could see why they made her that way. Because you're supposed to hate her character, but then in the end you actually start liking her. Because I even kind of started tearing up when they did the fake out death because I was like, damn, maybe they're actually just gonna kill off. They're just gonna kill her off. But no, she survives. And she's just this little girl who dreams of being a knight. And yeah, I just find that really cute and adorable. So, yeah. So, and then there's the man, the myth, the legend, Leon Chu. He's now my Discord profile. He is possibly the second best character. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I got you there. No, but seriously, I really do like how they make him sort of this father figure and always protecting the gang. Especially when it came to protecting Zoe. I found this movie wholesome as heck. And come on, that's just adorable. And now, the man, the myth, the legend, Guisto. While Leon Chu's the best character thematically, Guisto's just funny as hell.
Put some herbs on them.
I'm not talking about my blisters, I'm talking about Princess Blabbermouth!
A fire! A fire!
I kid you not, the first time I was watching this, he said, "I'm gonna hang myself." And I kid you not, it cut it to an ad. I swear I have never laughed so hard in my life. Man, this movie is just charming as heck. And the plot never stops moving. And also Guizdo is voiced by Yakko by Animaniacs. Ain't that crazy? Anyways, I will say this, the whole liar reveal thing is a little cliche, and someone could see it coming from a mile away. But, you know what? I'm just a sucker for these found family tropes, and I want to see a Dragon Hunters 2. Make it happen. Man, what can I say? When you sit through 39 of these garbage films with some exceptions, this just felt like a breath of fresh air. So yeah, I really like Dragon Hunters, and wouldn't mind watching it again. Phase 4 Films. It's a horrible company. You know, if anything, they're just a company that you get the DVD and you put it on the TV so you could say to your toddler, watch this. They are known for just making straight toddler candy. Just straight up candy movies. Ones where the toddlers just go, oh, pretty colors. But do you want to know something, guys? Since, you might be thinking, 39 movies. It's not even that bad. The original list, I kid you not, was 45 movies! Yeah, it was 45 movies. Which they weren't even movies. They were just episodes of a TV show compressed into a singular DVD. And then I thought, maybe to save my sanity, I'm just going to put 39. Nobody's going to suspect it anyways. So yeah, this marathon was horrible. Every time that I put on a new movie, it either got worse or subverted my expectations. Definitely this marathon was a little bit a part of that latter. So yeah, don't do this, chat. Please, just save your brain cells. Please, for me. Do it for me. And do you want to know something? Even though Phase 4 Films is long and gone by now, they actually kind of do exist. Theoretically. In the soul of another company called Kid Viva Pictures. And I don't know, I might do a ranking on them because they brought us Food Fight. I'm not looking forward to that. Anyways, if there's any movies on this list that I would kind of want you to check out, would be my top 5. And maybe Dr. Dolittle, but that's just a little cute kids movie that you put on to pass the time. Oh, man. And then the best movie is, of course, Dragon Hunters. So yeah, folks, I'm going to start uploading a lot of videos, hopefully. Now it's grind time. That means I'm working on the double to make sure these videos get out. I kid you not, I record and I edit and this is possibly one of the most ambitious projects I've ever done. And today is July 8th as I'm recording this. So I gotta lock in. I gotta lock in with editing these videos because I want to get them all out before August 11th. Because the minute I enter school, guys, my uploading schedule is gonna get completely messed up. So yeah, if you like these ranking videos, let me know. Because it definitely was a lot of fun to make. I might make another one because of that other company. But I want to start doing movie reviews. That's something I want to start doing. So yeah, so say it with me, folks. I am not an ordinary cat. I have boots. I am Puss in Boots. So, until next time, cue the goofy outro.
For friends. Humans are terrific, and I don't mean to offend, but when you're with an animal, life can be so phenomenal. Animals make the very best of friends.
Now, as you might have guessed to me, a dog, now that's the best. He's always just so happy as can be. He's the greatest pal there is, even to fleas.
His tail is always wagging.
And I don't mean to be bragging, but I really must declare that no human can compare.
Animals make the very best of friends. Animals you can always count on to the very end when you're with an animal. Life is so phenomenal.
Animals make the very best. Nothing can compare to the rest.
Animals make the very best of friends.